Samyanamatu Sarno Vinatu Sarviyam Kalavare Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavare Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Samastajam Kalyani, Nigatam Karunamayam, Namami Chinmayam Devam, Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swaram Vyasena Vyatitam Puranamumina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Pritavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayini Amvatvam Sandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhagavadreshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Sundranti Devesavai Vedai Sangapadakramo Parishadai Yayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthita Targatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina Yasyantam Navidusura Suradana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So we saw in the Gita, in this 18th chapter, that Bhagwan has given the whole knowledge of the Gita, and Bhagwan spoke about the last few verses that we saw. We saw that the Lord resides in the hearts of all. Ishvara sarva bhutanam yadeshe Arjuna tishtati. And then he said, Tameva sharanam kacha. Go to the refuge of that Lord. Seek the Lord within. And by the grace of that Lord, one will overcome all obstacles and experience oneness with the Supreme Truth. Now this knowledge that Bhagwan gave is a very subtle knowledge. And the beauty of our culture is that it is never enforced. There is always the freedom to agree or to disagree, to follow or not to follow. The freedom is always there. So in verse number 63, Bhagwan said, Vimrishyaitat asheshena yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Now, asheshena is very important. Reflect on this completely. Don't reflect on this taking some small part or taking one line out of context. Then there will be misunderstanding. Reflect completely. And then Bhagavad says, Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Now, as you like, you do. In all our scriptures, we will find this is the beauty. They will never tell that, the Guru will never tell that you have to follow this because I have told you. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Krishna never told Arjuna that, now you have to fight the war. If Arjuna had chosen to go, one would have said, no problem, go. His freedom is the beautiful aspect. Puja Gurudev, when he established our Sandipani Sadhana, where we all get trained together. Earlier it used to be 5 years course, residential course, then 2 years, 3 years, then 2.5, and now it is a 2-year course. So the whole course is done free for all those who are interested to do, who are young people, who have no family encumbrance. And at the end of the course, same thing. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. If one chooses to go back to family life, one can go back. If one chooses to serve the organization and the vision through any partial commitment, fine. Full-time commitment, fine. No enforcement, no binding. So that's the freedom. So Gurudev took up this based on our culture. And now, you see, Bhagwan's heart is flowing with so much of love for Arjuna. 18 chapters already he has given the knowledge. And he expresses his love for Arjuna. Very beautiful verse, we see 65th one. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. One says here that manmana bhava madbhaktaha. This similar verse has come earlier also. In the 9th chapter it comes. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha adhyaji mam namaskaru adhyaji mam namaskaru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam atparanam. There is one more verse. Here he says that be devoted to me, meaning love the Lord wholeheartedly, worship the Lord through the actions, revere Him as the Supreme. And what will happen? Mame Vaishyasi, you will come to me alone. Satyante, he said, this is my promise to you. And this Satyante is very nice. Satyante can apply to the earlier expression also that you will definitely come to me, this is my promise. And after Satyante he says, Pratijane Priyosime. Know that you are extremely dear to me. This is my promise. Meaning, he is not bluffing. Many times when we tell people, I love you, they are bluffing actually. Here, just imagine, Ishvara is telling the Jiva, such a sweet thing. The Ishvara, Supreme Lord, is like the mother or the father. Filled with love for the child, tells the child that I love you, you are dear to me. A devotee wants nothing more than this. This one expression is enough for the devotee. If Bhagavan says he loves me, that's enough. What does the devotee want? Anything more than that after that? Nothing one wants. We love the Lord, that is one aspect. But our love for the Lord many times is limited. When we say I love you to God, there is an asterisk mark on that. Conditions apply. Right? As long as everything is fine, I love you. Once the things go into 6th and 7th, then which God, what God, there is no God. But from there the person evolves and comes to realize oneness with the Lord. That is unconditional love, oneness with the Supreme. So Bhagavan is saying there, Pratijane Priyosime. Know very well that you are dear to me. Nobody loves us as we are unconditionally, except Bhagavan. And hence when he says Pratijane Priyosime. And remember he says this after telling Arjuna, do whatever you like to do. He's not emotionally blackmailing Arjuna, saying, Arjuna, you are very dear to me. Okay, I love you, so do what I want you to do. Nothing. Even if Arjuna had chosen to go away, Bhagavan's love for Arjuna will be seen. The love of the Lord, once when we start experiencing that, tune up to that Lord, we feel emotionally very secure, fearless, strong. Because the Lord is in our heart. If we know some powerful person in this world, we feel so good. And if somebody tries to threaten us, what do we say? Hey, I know this person, okay? Bhagavan is saying here that he loves us. The creator of the whole universe loves each and every jiva. So this is his, what we call, open declaration or open love letter to the jiva, that you are extremely dear to me. Now he concludes his teaching with this most famous verse, which is verse number 66. If there is one verse from the whole Gita, if we have to choose, entire 700 verses, it is this one verse. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tva sarva papebhyah Mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So this verse says, Sarva dharman parityajya, abandoning all dharmas, take refuge in me alone, in one pure consciousness. Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami, I shall liberate you from all the agitations and sins. Ma shuchaha, do not grieve. Now, there are various meanings of this whole verse. We will go into that. But one or two important points to understand here is that this verse is a verse of surrender. And we all need a shelter, ashraya. A surrender, a shelter, a place of surrender or a shelter, where when we go, we experience peace, happiness, freedom. Because when we are working in the world, living in the world, we go through so much of stress, worry, tension, anxiety. The mind needs rest, peace. Physically, yes, body can sleep and get some rejuvenation, but mentally, so that place of surrender, it can be a place, it can be people, it can be situations. Ideally, when we come back home because it is meant to give us this rest, peace, comfort. And what is our true home? Home is our true home. Bhagwan is our true home. When the mind becomes completely quiet, absorbed in the Lord, that's the time when the mind feels fully rejuvenated. And so, it could be a place, it could be a state of happiness, it could be a person who accepts us, loves us, protects us, cares for us. But one thing is, all these are very temporary. And hence, our demand, which is for supreme happiness at all times, can be fulfilled only by the Lord. So temporary rest, if I want, yes, there can be a particular individual or a place or a situation. But if I want supreme peace and happiness, I want to feel fulfillment. I don't want to feel emptiness. I don't want to feel something is missing. That fulfillment comes to us when we surrender to Bhagwan. And hence it is here that Arjuna had initially surrendered to the Lord. But his surrender was partial. We will see the status of Arjuna's surrender. Bhagwan taught him the whole Gita, and he concludes the message of the Gita with this verse. This is the message of surrender actually. And the essence of all the scriptures is surrender. Even including the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi, is to surrender the ego, that you are not this, you are that. Hence the verse is the single most important verse of the whole Gita, which teaches us how to surrender, what to surrender, and what not to surrender. Many times we surrender the wrong thing. So that's why the verse is the essence of surrender, the essence of Gita, the essence of whole spiritual knowledge. And when we do the Gita chanting, whenever we complete the chanting of one chapter, we chant this verse. After, suppose now Geeta Jayanti will come in December, so that time we chant all the 18 chapters, or throughout the year also many times we chant. At the end of every chapter, when we finish the chanting, we take the Sankalpa Vakya, then again we chant this verse, Sarva Dharma Parityajya, to remind us that this is the essence. Now, this whole thing depends on the understanding of the word Dharma. Bhagwan should have said, surrender adharma and come to me. But why did Bhagavan say surrender dharma and come to me? The word dharma is important. So what can be surrendered is what belongs to us. Can we surrender what does not belong to us? Can I say that this Prempuri ashram, now I give it up to you in charity, take? It does not belong to me, how will I give it? Can we surrender the objects of the world? No. Can we surrender our own body, mind and intellect? No. They belong to five elements, they don't belong to me. So what can I surrender? So the word dharma, first meaning of the word dharma is surrender the sharira dharma. When I consider that I am this sharira, this body, so whatever is happening to this body is happening to me. I am this individual. Whatever the individual is going through, ups and downs, success and failure, love and hatred, I am going through. Buddhi dharma. These are the dharma, success, failure, praise, criticism, buddhi dharma. Some values, ideals. These are the dharma of the body, mind and intellect. These are not dharma. Literally the word dharma means the nature of a thing without which that cannot exist. So what is the dharma of fire? Heat and light. Fire cannot exist without heat and light. Can we exist without body, mind, intellect? Yes or no?
No. Yes. Yes, yes, can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is your test. 18 chapters पढ़ने के बाद क्या गया अंदर? Can I exist without body, mind, intellect? Of course I exist without body, mind, intellect. Body, mind, intellect depends on me, the pure consciousness for existence. In deep sleep every night we exist or not? Not aware of the body, not aware of the mind, not aware of the intellect, but I am. So we are independent. So Sharir Mana Buddhi is not my dharma. It is like saying, do I exist apart from the phone or not? Of course I exist apart from the phone. Phone is just a tool to communicate. Same way the BMI is a tool to communicate with the world. I exist independent of that. But today I have mistaken myself to be the tool. So when he says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, abandon this wrong notion that you are this. Sharira Dharma, Mana Dharma, Buddhi Dharma, drop all these. And Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Come to surrender to me who is one. Meaning that one consciousness, that is my true nature. So what is Dharma meaning here? Sharira Mana Buddhi Dharma. What is the meaning of give up Parityajya? Give up what? Not the BMI. Give up the wrong notion of I-ness, that I am this BMI. I am not this BMI. Like the actor gives up the identity of all the roles that the actor is playing. But he is a different person. He is not the roles. So I told you not the anecdote. Gurudev, when he met an actor, the actor was very inspired by Gurudev and he wanted to take an autograph. So Gurudev immediately wrote to him on that. It was that he gave the card actually. And Gurudev wrote there, while acting, think it is real, in real life, act well. That was his message. While acting, think it is real, because if he doesn't think that the role is real, he cannot give his full best. But in real life, act well. Know that all these are different roles that we are playing. I am not those. Same way we play different roles identified with the body, mind and intellect. We are not this. The person who understands that very well realizes that one supreme truth. So the first meaning is that we drop the false notion that I am the body, mind and intellect. Second meaning is the different roles that we play. Drop all the other roles except the role that I am a devotee and a seeker. Even that role ultimately will go away when one becomes one with the Lord. But in the seat of meditation, I have no other roles. I play only the role of a seeker. And who is that one to whom I surrender? The one Lord who is in the hearts of all. I am a devotee of that Supreme Lord who is the same in everybody. So that when a seeker surrenders all the other roles and maintains only one role, that I am a devotee, I am a seeker, no other thoughts I engage in, no other thoughts I entertain. Slowly what happens? Surrender completely happens. Because from many roles to one role, to beyond that one role also, person becomes one with the Lord. Bhagwan only takes away that one role also, that you are a devotee. And this is the symbolism, such a beautiful symbolism, when Krishna Bhagwan steals away the clothes of the gopis. And our people don't understand some of the deeper significances of these things. Recently, this Me Too movement that is going on, somebody put that picture, Krishna Bhagwan on the tree, and the gopis in the Yamuna, and all of them are shouting, Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. How ridiculous is that? They don't even understand what is the significance of that. Krishna is not, first of all, Krishna Bhagwan is 6 years old at that time. And what these gopis, the whole purpose of that is so different. It has nothing to do with this. How they, and he is not, so if you take him as an individual also, he is only 6 years old. A 6 years old child is not capable of doing anything. And secondly, if we say he is Ishvara, in front of Ishvara, what does it matter? Complete surrender is what Ishvara wants us to do. And the Leela is to help the Jiva to surrender completely. So Gurudev used to give a beautiful example, explanation of this. That every day when the gopis go and take bath, was it that Krishna Bhagwan went and stole clothes every day? No. Once only he did that. Every day they drop their clothes on the banks of the Yamuna, go there, take a dip, come back, where the clothes come out. So he used to say every day the seeker enters the room of meditation, drops all identities, and is sitting there with that identity that I am a seeker, I want to pray to the Lord, I am surrendering to the Lord. And one identity the seeker is maintaining. Every single day, as the seeker does it consistently, one day what happens? One comes and steals away. Because the seeker, after the meditation, is again going back, identifying with the BMI, and again continuing the work. But one day in meditation, what happens? Bhagwan comes silently, steals away the whole false identification. That I am a devotee, that identification also gone, and I am a person playing so many roles, that identification also gone. What does that seeker experience? I am one with the divine. With that divine knowledge, one comes out. That Leela is actually to make the Jiva realize that you are one with Ishvara. Drop all the roles and identities and you realize your own true self. So that is Mam Ekam Sharanam Praja. So the word Ekam there, Mam me does not mean only Krishna. Again, many people misinterpret that. Bhagwan is not saying that only if you surrender to me who is Krishna, you will be liberated. No. Mam Ekam means that one Supreme Lord of the universe, whichever form you worship the Lord in, how does it matter? You can say Shiva, and that's the beauty. Navratri we celebrated. In Navratri, who is the Supreme? Durga Devi is the Supreme. Shivji will be lying at the feet of Mother Kali. In Shiv Puran, Shivji will be Supreme. In Vishnu Puran, Vishnu Bhagwan will be Supreme. Bhagavatam, Krishna will be Supreme. The same Bhagwan manifesting, whichever form one likes, one takes. So all this we learned in the chapters on devotion. So when we say Mam Ekam, what does Bhagavan mean? One Supreme Lord. Surrender to the Supreme Lord. Third meaning here is when we are doing devotional practices and sadhana, we learned about so many sadhanas. Japa, Dhan, Yajna, Tapa, Upvas, Yatra, so many sadhanas. All those sadhanas, when we are doing, we do with the bhav that may my mind be purified and may I realize oneness with the Lord. Because when we don't do with that bhav, pride and ego will come in. So Sarva Dharman Parityajya means drop all the pride associated with the sadhanas and do it that Bhagavan is the one who is making me do it, and I am doing it for increasing my love for God, nothing else. So who is the one there? Lord, and the love for the Lord is what I want to inculcate. So surrender all the other thoughts, drop all the other thoughts. That may I become more powerful with this, or may people appreciate me that, okay, what a great seeker this person is, or may I get some material wealth or some freedom from some disease or sorrow. None of that. People like Ramana Maharshi, when he had what they call sarcoma, they operated on him 4 times. Every time it would reappear on his hand and different other parts of the body, later on it spread to him. So they told him that Bhagavan, if you just will, only one thought in your mind, if you just will that may this body be cured, the body will get cured by itself. You will not have to suffer the disease. You know what Ramana Maharshi said? He said the body itself is a disease. Why should the thought be to cure the disease of a disease? I am pure self, unaffected. He spoke that in the language of knowledge. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa spoke that in the language of devotion. He also had cancer, throat cancer. He never asked Mother Kali. He said, I don't ask Mother Kali for these petty things. So that's the state in which they live, that their devotion is meant only for the love of the Lord. Nothing they want, not even the safety and security of this body. So that is, when we do devotional practices, we remember that our supreme goal is to be one with the Lord. So may devotion increase. And the fourth meaning of dharma is all our karma and our duties, niyata karma. So what do I surrender? I must do my duties established in swadharma. So drop paradharma, drop adharma, and drop selfishness, artha dharma, and surrender to the higher ideal or to the Supreme Lord. That I am only an instrument of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the karta, Bhagavan is the bhokta. So these are different meanings. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Then what will happen? Aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami. Papa literally does not mean here that whatever sins we have done or whatever wrong actions we have done, Bhagavan will just nullify all of them. Papa here means all the agitations of the mind. And all the agitations of the mind are because of ego. If I have surrendered ego, everything is gone with that. Beautiful example Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to give. That there was a eagle. So the eagle was happily flying. And then the eagle saw there was some piece of meat down there. So the eagle came down and picked up that piece of meat. And as the eagle picked up the piece of meat and was flying, suddenly there are so many crows which are chasing this eagle. And they are making so much of sound, and the eagle was terrified. So Generally, eagle can go away very high. But these crows, so many of them were there. They were chasing this eagle. Wherever the eagle went, left and right and up and down, eagle got very terrified, and in that fear, it opened the beak. And what happened? That piece of meat fell down. As soon as that piece of meat fell down, all the crows went to take that meat. And they left the eagle. Eagle went back and sat. So Ramakrishna used to give that example that our ego is like that piece of meat. We are happy before, and somewhere we get stuck in ego, and then a host of agitations they start. So sarva papebhya mokshayishyami. I liberate you from all the sins. Aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami. This is an assurance Bhagavan gives. This does not mean that the devotee will not face any difficult situation at all. The devotee may face difficult situations, but because the devotee always feels one with the Lord, one will go through those situations without getting affected so much. And the last two words are Ma Shuchaha. Do not grieve. So the Gita is called Ashoka Upanishad because of this. The main teaching of the Lord began in the second chapter, 11th verse. And the 11th verse began by saying, Ashocyanam Vashochastvam. You are grieving for those who do not deserve to grieve, do not deserve to be grieved for. And now last teaching is Ma Suchara. Do not grieve. So Gita is called Ashoka Upanishad. So if you want to tell somebody what is the essence of the Gita, if somebody asks you that you went through this whole Gita course for 1.5 years, tell me what is the essence of the Gita. You can tell them what is the essence. Keep smiling, don't grieve. Over. Do not grieve, don't complain, don't have regret. Be happy. Keep smiling. And many people think spirituality is very serious. What are you doing? Spiritual. Self-control have to be. So I can't be free. It is the path of joy, the path of happiness. So how did Arjuna surrender? Arjuna's surrender happened in so many stages. First of all, Ananyavaran. Arjuna chose Bhagwan and not the army. Management-wise, it was a stupid decision to make. Because when you already have less resources, why add a resource to you who is of no use? When the choice is given to you, you have only 7 Akshavani of army. They already have 10. The choice is, take 1 Akshavani which has lakhs of soldiers and elephants and horses and all that. They will be very helpful, productive. And your opposite choice is an unproductive person who says, I will not lift a weapon. In the war, I will not lift a weapon. That is what he said. What will you choose as a management faculty or a decision maker? Obviously, capacity building and skill building and all that I need. So, take 1 Akshavani of Sena. And what did Arjuna do? Choose that one person. So, first he chose Bhagwan. And that was what we call today game changer. Game changer. After. Because all strategies Bhagwan helped them with. He didn't lift a weapon, but it was because of him they won the war. So, first he chose the Lord. Now he chose the Lord and then he made the Lord as the charioteer. Our buddhi is the charioteer. Meaning, he gave the reins of his life in the hands of Bhagwan, saying, Bhagwan, you guide me. Third, when he was deluded and he was confused, what did he do? He left the chariot, came down and sat at the feet of the Lord, turns the back towards the Kaurava army and surrenders, saying, I am confused, I don't know what to do. And he accepts as his ignorance and says, Shishyasteham, now I am your disciple. So he came into the mood of openness of the mind whereby he is ready to receive knowledge. Now he has surrendered to Bhagavan, he is seeking guidance, and he says that I am ready to follow your instructions, please guide me. Shishya means one who is ready to follow the instruction. But even there, his surrender is still limited. Why? Because he says, I will follow all your instructions except one, I will not fight. He has thrown away the bow and arrow. So I am ready to follow your instruction to clear my delusion, but I am not going to fight. This is his level of surrender at that time. Then the whole Gita happens. And then finally Bhagavan says, you do what you have to do, I have given you the knowledge. So Bhagavan gave the knowledge, clarified the doubt and left the choice to Arjuna. And ultimately, he ends the discourse here to Arjuna saying what? That don't grieve. If we have gone through spiritual knowledge, if we are doing spiritual practices, our life, there should not be any grief at all. Because grief is born out of attachment. Attachment leads to grief. And attachment is because of ignorance. So, we may say that no, but self-knowledge is still not happened. Then that's a different matter that we can strive to gain the self-knowledge. But we can start dropping attachments, false notions. To that extent, our sorrow and grief will also reduce. The more we tune up with Bhagavan, more we surrender, the more happier our life is. And so he says here, Ma Shuchaha, do not grieve. Now, having said all this, there is a question of eligibility. Very important is this eligibility. See the 67th verse. Idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrushave vatyam na cha mam yobhyasuyati. So here he says, to whom this knowledge should not be given. Now, we should remember one thing, that for knowledge to be understood, assimilated and applied, the mind must be ready. That is called eligibility. If the mind is not ready, it can misunderstand the knowledge as well as it can misuse the knowledge. And misuse of the knowledge is very harmful to the person as well as to the society. So this is not to deny knowledge to somebody, this is actually to help us to cultivate the eligibility. That did I cultivate his eligibility or not? So he says here, Idam, meaning this supreme secret, don't give this to people who are not doing austerity. Atapaskaya, na atapaskaya deyam. If I am fully steeped in sense enjoyments, completely a victim of my own comfort zones, attachments, and I have no self-discipline even to a little extent in my life, austerity is not there, then this knowledge will be harmful. Why? Because I will say that anyway this is not an illusion. So whether I am in a comfort zone or not, how does it matter? Na abhaktaya. Don't give this to somebody who is not devoted. Again, the person who is not devoted, meaning the person who operates out of ego, by getting knowledge, the jnana ahankar can increase more. One can go and say, see, I finished the Gita course. Do you even know one word of the Gita? Pura Gita course, 18 mahina, all Sundays I went, continuously. I didn't miss a single class. And I'm giving the test also. And I got not less than 95 in every test. I'm not saying that you should not be proud of what you are doing, but I'm saying sometimes when the ego is there, one can look down upon other people. So jnana ahankar can rise. So he says, na abhaktaya kadachana. Nacha ashushrusave vachyam. Don't give to the one who is not doing seva, meaning one who is not even attempting to become selfless, to purify the mind. Nachamam yogya sujati. And don't give to the one who is constantly criticizing me. Because the knowledge is about Bhagavan. If I am constantly criticizing the Lord, that state which I want to reach, that state only I am criticizing. There is a self-contradiction all the time. So these are actually for eligibility. This is a very subtle knowledge. And subtler the knowledge, more is eligibility required. Nuclear science or defense secrets, are they revealed to everybody? No. Can we say this is discrimination? Equality we should have. Everybody has right to knowledge, equal rights. It is not possible. That which is subtle is subtle. Suppose you go to a hospital, there's an X-ray room there. No? In X-ray room, if it is written outside there, pregnant women and lactating mothers should not come inside. Some such notice is always put there. Can you say this is discrimination against women? Equal right. We should have equal rights. Men and women, all of them should go there. In spiritual matter, there is eligibility. Even right now, that Sabrimala issue which is going on, our own people don't understand so many of these facts. And they think it is great progress they have made by giving that verdict. It is not. There is no discrimination there because women of the other age groups are going. Only specific age group the women are not required to go there. And go to every other temple. Who is telling you not to go? All other Ayyappa temples you go, but that is a Brahmachari Pratishtha. The deity is observing Brahmacharya there and sitting there. The deity is not an idol there. The deity is deity, Bhagavan there. Prana Pratishtha is done there. There is not a murti that one is going to see. Bhagavan is sitting there and Bhagavan is sitting in that form there to encourage celibacy. And for people who are going there also, 41 days they have to live a celibate life and then go there. That's an objective there. That's the purpose there. So there are eligibilities. There are so many places where other people are, the men are not allowed to go. So many functions where men are not allowed to go. So each place has an eligibility. Once we understand the eligibility, then we start following. Then the benefit is maximum. So here it is a question of that. So the basics are for everybody. But the highest truth is only for those who are qualified. Others will not understand, or they will partially understand, or will misunderstand also. That is a big danger. So that verse is for that qualification. Now we come to the next part, the last part of this 18th chapter, where the Gita is a supreme secret as well as it is very sacred. Everything associated with the Gita is sacred. The knowledge in the Gita, in the 9th chapter, Bhagavan said that, it is dharmyam, susukham kartum avyayam. The knowledge is sacred. The place where it is given is Dharma kshetre, Kurukshetra. That place also is a very sacred place. The context is the yuddha which is Dharma yuddha. Dharmyati yuddha shreyonyate kshatriyasya vidyate. That this is a war to protect righteousness. It's not a war for revenge or for property. It's a war to protect righteousness. So that is sacred. The dialogue between the Lord and Arjuna, the Guru and Shishya. Now ahead Bhagavan will tell that. Dharmyam samvadam avayo. So every aspect associated with the Gita here, the context, the place, the knowledge, the dialogue is all dharmic. And so when we associate ourselves with the Gita, it can only benefit us. Especially when we cultivate that eligibility and then study, it will only benefit. So now from verse number 68 to 71, is what we call as the Falashruti. That what is the result of this study of the Gita, and if I study and teach, what will happen? Yaimam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vaishyatya samshayah. So he says this supreme secret, ya imam paramam guhyam, mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati, whoever shares this knowledge with my devotees, bhaktim mai param kritva, that person is doing supreme practice or has the greatest devotion to me, mamai vaishyati, will definitely come to me. Abhidhasyati, mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. This is important. So what are the ways in which I can live the Gita and I can share the Gita? There are 9 ways. There can be as many as you like. We have just listed down 9. First is I can listen to the Gita. Just listening. Every day listen to the chant of the Gita. If I can listen with the meaning, great. I can reflect on it and I can realize. Just by listening I can realize. Like Arjuna, you will see as you go along. He was listening to Bhagavan and his delusion got clearer. Like Parikshit Raja heard Shukdev Maharaj for 7 days, the Bhagavad Saptah, and his delusion got clear. His fear of death went away. So one is I can listen. If we are not familiar with the verses of the Gita, many times we feel, hey, this is Sanskrit, complicated. That is all our notion only. We become familiar by what? Repetition. Go on listening. Then those words will become familiar to the mind. And then so many Sanskrit words are there in a lot of our Indian languages, so we know the meanings also. So keep listening. I know that from my childhood I went on listening to the Gita and so many stotras and chants they kept playing in my house also. And I also used to keep putting and listening. So when I went to study Vedanta for 2 years in Powai, already I am familiar with so many of these. Then I don't have to sit and memorize separately because I am familiar with a lot of that. So listening is a very powerful method of becoming familiar with the knowledge. Second, read the Gita. 1 chapter a day, or commentary of a few verses, 2 verses a day, 3 verses a day. Gurudev used to autograph to people also. At the end of the Gita lectures, when somebody comes with a Gita book, he will write 2 verses daily for the next 1 year. Repeat the dosage if symptoms persist. Every day 2 verses. Chant the 2 verses, read the commentary of the 2 verses. Gita has 700 verses. So in 1 year's time, you can complete the whole Gita. So read the Gita, chant the Gita. In the daily sadhana one can chant, it will purify the speech, it will make the mind single pointed. Either 1 chapter every day, or if you feel that is very difficult, just 10 verses a day. 10 verses will not even take 5 minutes. But chant. Chant 1 chapter, chant a portion. Teach Gita chanting. That's the best method. There are so many sevak sevikas all over the world who are teaching the chanting to millions of children. Not just in Chinmaya Mission, many other organizations also. So they purify their speech and their mind by chanting, as well as they are inspiring the life of so many people. They are sowing the seeds of greater knowledge in the minds of such young children. And children are like a sponge. At that age, they will just absorb. So that's one very beautiful opportunity. Here in South Mumbai, also every year we do Gita chanting. Every year 1 chapter is taken up and selected verses are there. and there is competition held for the children. They are classified into different age groups. So Sujata ji has been taking care of this Geeta chanting in South Mumbai along with a group of few people. They go to schools, they inspire them, then they conduct chanting classes there. The children learn. There's a learning aid CD which is there. And then competitions are held at various levels, the school level and the area level, the zone level. Sometimes we go to city level, state level, national level, international level also. So the idea is that one must chant. So there are chanting classes also that we conduct. So one of the sevas that you can do is come forward and become a Geeta chanting seva. This year the chapter is 18th chapter. But 18th chapter is very big, 78 verses. So we have divided into two halves. This year is first 39 verses. Next year will be the next 39 verses. So you can come forward, become a sevak, learn the chanting, and you can spare a few hours in a week, coordinate maybe just with one school, teach the children there, and let them participate. That is one way by which we can give back our debt to the rishis, by sharing the knowledge with maximum number of people. So if anybody wants to become a Geeta chanting sevak, so it's not only in South Bombay. I know some of you are coming from different parts of the city. In every zone in Mumbai, we have Geeta chanting happening. And though we have learning aid CDs, children will always, we have it online also, people can download and all that. But when the person is there, that connect is very different. So it's a good sadhana to do. Chant the Geeta, teach the Geeta chanting, or support the Geeta chanting. There are so many children who take part in the competitions. You can support prizes for them, you can support a lot of things that we give them just to motivate them, encourage them, and support. Study the Gita. In the Bhagavad Shankaracharya says, Bhagavad Gita kinchida dhita. Even a little bit of study of the Gita, reflection on the Gita, will make a person go beyond fear of death. Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. Lord Yama will not discuss also about you if you have studied the Gita. We studied for 18 months. By little, full Gita we have studied. Now what will happen to us? That you yourself will know by now. Fear of death should go when I study the Gita. Who is going to die? Really, body is going to die. Is the body alive? Body is anyway dead. Body will not die. Jiva also does not die. The Jiva goes from one body to another. Your consciousness also does not die. It is all pervasive. Then who dies? When this body drops, who dies? Nobody dies. Death is an illusion. That's the knowledge of the Gita. Death itself is an illusion. We think this body is alive and so we are thinking this body died. Body is already dead. Like the bulb does not have any light. If that bulb fuses, the light goes away. We thought that the bulb has light, but bulb never had light. Bulb was always bulb on its own. So the knowledge of the Gita makes us realize that death itself is an illusion. I am that immortal self. So forget fear of death. There is no death at all. Immortality is my nature. That knowledge, when I keep contemplating on that, fear of death goes. By prarabdha, whenever the body has to drop and go into 5 elements, it will go. That detachment comes. So study the Gita, not only for this, but for many other aspects. How to integrate my personality, how to become more pure, how to become more single-pointed, how to surrender, so many aspects. Write the Gita. There are people who write also the 700 verses. Likhita sadhana it is. Or you can write your thoughts and reflections. One nice sadhana to do is go through each chapter of the Gita and write down what you have understood. Or write down how you will apply this knowledge of this chapter. So there are thousands of commentaries on the Gita. So many people have written on the Gita. You can write your own thoughts. Not for anybody else, for one's own reflection. There are people who have printed the Gita on the walls of the temples. They have written Gita on small miniature. What it is called in rice paint. In many different ways. You can write, paint, comment, many things can be done. Blog. Enact the Gita, dramatize it as a play, as a serial, the knowledge. Distribute the Gita. Sponsor the printing of the Gita, distribute free, gift it to people. There is no better gift that you can give. It's not just a book, it is knowledge which can liberate. And the right, inspiring commentary according to the age group one should choose and give. Gita for children presented differently, Gita for youth differently, Gita for corporates differently, elders differently. So there are different commentaries available. Choose according to that and give. 2016, we celebrated Puja Gurudev's birth centenary. In that year, one decision was taken in Chinmaya Mission that from then onwards, the Holy Gita of Gurudev will be distributed free. So we continue to give it free to whoever comes. If they feel like giving any cost, it is voluntary. Otherwise, we don't even ask, or we just give. Because Gurudev's whole life he dedicated for the Gita. And so, distribute. Make maximum people aware of this. Teach the Gita. This is another sadhana that Bhagavad spoke. Whoever teaches the Gita, of all the sadhanas, this teaching of the Gita and helping to organize the talks whereby knowledge is reaching to maximum people, these two sadhanas, Bhagavan says, he loves the best. Because, why does he say like that? When we teach to individuals or smaller groups or any, on YouTube you can put up, it will reach so many people. Different methods one can use. The idea is, why does he say that this is the best sadhana that he loves? Because the purpose of his birth is Dharma Samsthapana. And we are doing that. By sharing the knowledge of the Gita, we are inspiring the vision of oneness in the hearts of all. That helps to remove ego, selfishness, and hence all other dharma also goes. More than the destruction of the evil, Bhagavan actually does Dharma Samsthapana by providing knowledge. So many people got liberated by the presence of Bhagavan. And to so many people he gave knowledge in different ways. So that work of giving knowledge based on the scriptures through the Guru Shishya Parampara, that work, glorious work is carried forward. Hence Bhagavan says this is the best. So in Chinmaya Mission, Gurudev set the tradition. That's why he set up the Sandipani Sadhanalaya, and all of us are trained and we continue to share. And the sevaks who learn from us, they also take classes, courses, they continue to share to more people of all age groups. So this way the knowledge has to go on. And in the mission, Gurudev gave us all the 9 opportunities. His whole life, 42 years, when he started speaking on the Gita, a lot of people at that time used to only keep the Gita in the puja room and do the arati and worship the Gita, but never open the Gita and study it. 42 years that book has undertaken the journey from the puja room to the marketplace, to the living room, to the corporate rooms, to the colleges, schools, everywhere. He brought the knowledge to so many people. And this must be taught to all our children. The beauty of the Gita is there is no word Hindu in the whole Gita. These are universal principles people can apply. So we must ensure that this is taught to our children to the future. So he says this is the best sadhana that one can do because it will remove the root cause of sorrow, which is ignorance. The best charity one can do is to support self-knowledge. So that will remove the root cause of ignorance. And hence, even if one person realizes, when we are sharing the knowledge, even if one person realizes, the whole creation benefits from that. So, Jnana Seva, this is called. People generally think Seva only means remove the sorrow of those who are afflicted. So, give food to the hungry, clothes to the poor, education to the illiterate, which is no doubt a Seva. But Seva is to remove the sorrow. And what is the root cause of sorrow? Ignorance. Jnana Seva is to make that person drop that ignorance. And hence, Bhagavan says this is the best Seva that one can do, and that person becomes dearest to the Lord. Nacha tasman manusyeshu kaschan me priyakrittamaha bhavita nacha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. He said there is no other person who is dearer to me than that person, and there will nobody be who will be more dearer to me than that person who does this service, the service of reaching the knowledge to the maximum people. Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti me matihi. So he says here that whoever will study this sacred dialogue, Dharmyam Samadhamavayoho, that person would have worshipped me through the best of the yajnas, which is Jnana Yajna. If you remember in the 4th chapter, we have done 12 types of yajnas. In that Jnana Yajna, he says, is the best. Shreyam Dravemaya Yajna, Jnana Yajna Parantapa. So a lot of the programs of Chinmaya Mission, the discourse series like 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, we call it as Jnana Yajna, Geeta Jnana Yajna. Gurudev took it from this chapter and the 4th chapter, Jnana Yajna. So he says, Jnana Yajnena tenaham ishtasyam. That person would have worshipped me through the highest knowledge, through the highest spiritual sadhana, which is Jnana Yajna. This is his opinion. Shraddhavananasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi mukta shubhan lokan Prapnuyat punya karmanam. So one is to study and teach. Second is to just study. But if somebody says both these are also very difficult for me to do, and Bhagavan says even if you just listen, that person who listens with full faith, Shraddhavan, and Anasuyascha, who does not listen to find fault. Asuya means fault. Anasuya means one who doesn't find fault. There are a lot of people who listen only to criticize, to condemn. They don't listen to gain knowledge. They will listen to pull down the other person or the argument. So, that is called Asuya. Anasuyascha means one who doesn't listen with this intention. But with faith one has heard. Sopi mukta shubhan lokan. That person also will become free just by listening. And that person has done a lot of punya karma. So by coming here for 1.5 years and just listening, you have acquired a lot of merit. I'm not joking, but one is saying that one will attain meritorious worlds here itself as well as hereafter. And best is one gets Brahma Vidya and one becomes free, liberated. Now Bhagavan tells him that if this has been heard by you, O Arjuna, Kachchideta Shodam Partha Tvaya Ekagrena Chetasa. With single pointedness, if you have heard me, Kachchid Ajnana Sammoha Pranashtaste Dhananjaya. He is asking, Have you heard with single pointedness without getting distracted? And has your mind become free from delusion? Because you had delusion in the beginning. Bhagavan wants to know that did you understand? Especially the knowledge is very subtle. One may give the whole knowledge, but at the end of it, the cause may still remain. Arjuna may still be confused. So Bhagavan is clarifying, did your delusion go? Ajnana sammoha, delusion born out of ignorance, did it go or not? So now see what Arjuna replies. Because if you go to a doctor and you take up a long treatment, at the end of the treatment, if the root cause of the disease is not eliminated, and I keep feeling symptoms again and again, then what is the point? One has to ensure everything clear or not. Now, one man had a very rare psychological disorder. And that disorder was that he kept thinking that he is a rat. Constantly he kept thinking he is a rat, and he was very scared all the time, and he would not be able to do anything. So he was put in the psychiatric hospital, and he went through a big treatment. And after a few months, he came. The doctor diagnosed him, and he said, "Now you are free. You are cleared of this doubt. Do you feel you are a rat?" He says, "No." "Who are you?" "I am a human being." "What is your name?" Particular name, he said. "What are you doing?" This particular profession, he said. So the doctor congratulated him and said, "Well done, you are cured. Now you know the truth. Go, you are free." And he went out. And in 5 minutes he came back, shivering. He said, "What happened?" He said, I know I am not a rat, but the cat outside doesn't move." So it is like that. The disease is not cured there. I heard the whole Gita. I may feel that I am cured. But when I go out of this hall, then the Jiva Bhava again comes back. Again one feels that I am this. So then Bhagavan is clarifying and asking, did your delusion born out of ignorance go or not? Arjuna Uvacha Nashto Moha Smritir Labdha Mat Prasadan Mayachyuta Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha Karishye Vachanam Tava. So Arjuna is assuring one Nashto Moha, my delusion is destroyed. Smritir Labdha, and I have regained the memory. Meaning, I have again come to know what I had forgotten, that I am a Kshatriya, I have to protect righteousness. One. Second, I have regained the knowledge that I am Brahman, I am pure consciousness, I am not this. I had forgotten that. And how did that happen? Tat prasadat maya achyuta. Oh Achyuta, with your grace this has happened. See, beautiful aspect, no? Bhagavan Vedavyas, what he has done. When Arjuna had told Krishna to place the chariot between the two armies, that time he said, Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. Oh Achyuta. Achyuta means one who doesn't fall. Achyuta means falls. Now Arjuna is going to fall. When the chariot is placed in between the two armies, his delusion starts, he is going to fall. So before that he addresses Bhagavan as Achyuta. And after he has fallen, now he has risen again to realize that Bhagavan is the pure consciousness. This Krishna is not an ordinary person. Again he calls him as Achyuta. That with your grace, O Achyuta, I also realize that I am not this individual. And what is this knowledge? Is it temporary? Sthitosmi. I am established in this knowledge. Not temporarily, not for a few moments, not in that high of inspiration. No. Sthitosmi, I am established, I am very clear that I am this pure consciousness. As well as what is my role to play here, I am very clear. Sthitosmi, Gata Sandeha, all doubts are gone. These are two important aspects of knowledge. One is to be established in the knowledge, other is to be free from doubts. What happens to many of us is, we only know the information. Our doubts have not gone. So to remove the doubts, what do we have to do? We have to do reflection, manana. And to be established in that knowledge that I am that, what I have to do? Nididhyasa or contemplation. So after having heard the truth, reflect and contemplate. Now what is the result of this whole thing? He had thrown away the bow and arrow. Now Bhagavan told him, Yatha Ichchasi Tatha Kuru. And what does Arjuna say? Karishye Vachanam Tava. That I shall do what you have told me to do. So this is Atma Jnana and Atma Smriti. When he says, I have gained the memory. Generally we gain memory of objects. So if I see something, then I recollect that. That is called memory. Suppose I see now this thermos is there. Now after few days, let us say, I want to remember, oh, what was that thermos? Then I remember the shape. So this is based on direct perception. Of the impression is put on my head and then I recollect, the memory comes when I think about it. But this Atma Smriti is not like that. It is about the self which always exists. It's not about an object. Object's memory comes and goes. After some time we may not remember also. So much effort we had put to study a subject called trigonometry. Sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cosec theta, something we learned. I never understood where the hell is it applied in my life. No idea. But kept on memorizing. So many chemical formulas and all we kept memorizing. Now we don't remember. Integration, differentiation.
Derivatives and integration. Derivatives and integration.
Derivatives, integration. Something we don't. Maybe it must be applicable in life somewhere. Lots of people must be using it, but gone up to the brain. At that time it was so important. All marks and everything depends on that. One self-esteem depends on that. Now gone. So memory of the worldly things comes and goes. But Atma Smriti is not like that. It is the self which I know, which I am. Every moment I am experiencing as I am, I am, I am. False identification made me just move away from that. This I am will never become I am not. So Atma Smriti is not like Smriti of objects. It is to know who I am, and once that knowledge is gained, Sthitosmi, it will never go away. It is not that once we are realized, after a few days again we fall back into delusion, then it is not worth realizing. So when he says Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha, I have got this memory. Don't confuse the word memory as any other memory. This is knowledge of the self. Never will it go. Now, having said this much, he has surrendered to Bhagavan. Bhagavan gave him the choice and Arjuna completely followed his instructions. So the best is when we surrender our choice to the Lord. That is our greatest choice that we have made. That what Bhagavan makes me do, I will do that. The ego is surrender. To surrender to his will is the greatest surrender. And that is the greatest choice also. Because his will is the best for everybody. If I choose the will of the Lord versus the will of my ego, the will of the Lord is the best. And hence, to choose to surrender our choice to the Lord and to follow whatever Bhagavan says, That this is the instruction of the Lord. I will just do it. That's the best. So Arjun surrendered and he said, Karishye Vachanam Tava. So Krishna concluded his discourse. Arjun gave his decision that yes, I shall do what you say. Now Sanjay is reporting to Dhritarashtra. He gives his concluding remarks. He says, Ityam Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanah Samvadamim Ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. This wonderful and horripilation causing discourse of Krishna and Arjun I have heard. O Dhritarashtra, not only he has heard, he has that divine capability given by Vedavyasji to see what is happening in the battlefield as well as what is happening in the minds of all the warriors. This blessing was available for Dhritarashtra also, but Dhritarashtra never took it. So he says, how did I listen to all this? Vyasa Prasada Shrutavan. So he expresses gratitude that because of Vedavyasji, I heard all this. Etad Guhyam Aham Param. Supreme knowledge I have heard. And remember, he didn't hear only the knowledge. He also saw the Vishwarupa Bhagavan. What a glorious sight that is. Sanjay. Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishna Sakshat Kathayata Swayam. Bhagavan himself has given this. He is not an ordinary person. It is getting the knowledge from the Lord directly. Meaning, what did Dhritarashtra miss in his life? Can you imagine? He missed the chance of liberation, of listening from Bhagavan directly, of seeing the Vishwarupa. For what? Attachment to the son. That's all. So that's how attachment is. So he says to Dhritarashtra, okay, you missed all this. Chalo, doesn't matter. But at least you heard from me. Now remember this again and again. Rajan Samsmritya Samsmritya. Again and again I am remembering this. Oh, King, Samvadamim Adbhutam. This most wonderful dialogue between Keshava and Arjun. Punyam, most purifying. Krishyamicha Muhurmuhu. I am rejoicing again and again. Meaning, oh King, you also listen, remember all this again and again. Just imagine what is the mind of Dhritarashtra. Even after listening to the whole Gita, even after understanding so many things, even when Bhagavan himself said that, he told Arjun that, Arjun, I have killed all of them because it's their karma. Dhritarashtra still felt what? That Bhim is that person who killed all my 100 children, and Krishna is that person who caused this war. And so Dhritarashtra wanted to embrace Bhim and kill him. And Gandhari cursed Krishna Bhagavan. Can you see what is the power of delusion? How much attachment can pull us down? Because they are not even responsible. Bhagavan is not even holding any of them responsible. He is saying, I am the Karta. But the Jiva never believes that. The Jiva who thinks he is the Karta will always blame other Jivas as the Karta. Will never understand it is the will of the Lord. And so it is Sanjay, he feels blessed. Just think, an adhikari, to that person, opportunities will come on their own. Did Sanjay go asking for this? Sanjay was doing his duty. And he is a charioteer of Dhritarashtra. And he is sitting there doing the duty, he is trying to report what is happening. But Vedavyasji on his own comes there and gives the choice to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra rejects it, and who takes it? Sanjay takes it. So if we cultivate eligibility in our life, we become more and more qualified. Automatically the knowledge will come to us. Darshana of Bhagavan also will happen. Everything will happen. But if we don't cultivate the quality and eligibility, even if the knowledge comes to us, either I will not absorb it or I will not assimilate it. It won't transform my life. Hence a lot of emphasis on sadhana. So he says, remembering again and again, Tatcha samsmitya rupam atyadbhutam harehe. I have seen that glorious form of the Lord, the Vishwarupa, he says, Vismayome Mahan Rajan. He says he is filled with so much of wonder. Rishyami cha punah punah. I again and again rejoice. So Vishwarupa is one and knowledge is one. He got both and his mind is just filled with all that. Concluding message of Sanjay is also one more message to Dhritarashtra that where Krishna and Arjuna are there, victory will be there. Even now you have a chance. Stop this war. Just like in Ramayana we have Ravana's example. Vinashakale Viparita Buddhi. Everybody told Ravana that withdraw, including Kumbhakarna. He didn't stop. Same way here. Everybody told him. Gandhari also told him. Krishna also told him. Bhishma told him. Everybody told him. And now his own charioteer Sanjay also is telling him, even now there is a chance. Stop it. He didn't stop. This is the last verse of the Gita. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi Dhuvani Tirmatir Mama. So he says, wherever there is Yogeshwar Krishna and wherever there is dynamic man of action. So Dhanurdhar Parth. Earlier we had thrown away his Dhanush. Now he has picked it up. Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti. There is Shri Vijaya and Bhuti. Success, name, prosperity. Dhruva Nitir Matirma. There, this is my firm conviction. This is the declaration of Sanjay. So this is a very important, that's why I kept saying that in the beginning also, the Geeta Chariot is a very, very powerful symbol. We used to have in our homes. At the end of this course, if you feel inspired, bring one picture or a replica model of the Geeta Chariot and keep it in the house. Because it represents this, where there is Krishna, meaning spiritual values and self-knowledge. And where is Arjuna, the dynamic man, wanting to do action selflessly. Success will be there. Second, where there is grace of Ishvara and the self-effort of a jiva who has surrendered, success will be there. Where there is self and consciousness, and where there is the jiva who has integrated the body, mind and intellect, there will be success. So these are different interpretations of the same chariot. One meaning of the chariot we saw is the 5 horses are senses, the mind is the reins, the Lord is the charioteer, Arjuna is the individual, the body is the whole chariot, and the destination is moksha. So it is to remind me of the goal as well as the means. Second is all these different meanings of Krishna and Arjuna. Where there is actionlessness combining with dynamic action. Actionlessness is Bhagavan, Akarta. And action is the jiva who is ready to do action. Arjuna is the jiva. Where there is freedom as well as discipline, both go hand in hand. Arjuna is a symbol of discipline, concentration, focus. And Bhagavan is a symbol of freedom. Freedom and discipline. Where there is bhakti and jnana, that is Bhagavan, and karma is Arjuna. Where there is spirit, Krishna, and matter is Arjuna. Where there is goodness and smartness, Bhagavan represents both. Highest purity as well as greatest sattva guna, goodness and smartness. And where there is readiness to act. Where a person is not becoming lazy, lethargic, both when they are there. Where goal of life, Krishna, and the means, which is the chariot which we spoke about, clarity, purity, dexterity, where both these come together. Where there is nivritti and pravritti, renunciation and action. Where there is inspiration and perspiration. Where there is spiritual centering and active resistance to evil. Arjuna symbolizes that. He is not allow the Kauravas to trample over you all over and just be passive. No. Dharma is, Kshatriya Dharma is to protect righteousness. So we will fight against evil. Active resistance to evil. This we forgot. Our culture also went through decadence and even today going through a lot of trouble because we are not actively standing up for the culture. So active resistance to evil. But it should be based on what? Spiritual anchoring, not some emotionalism. Proper clarity. No hatred. Bhagavad tells Arjuna, don't fight to kill them for revenge or for hatred. Do it because you have to do it as a duty. And know that they are also imperishable and you are also imperishable. That clarity one must have. Then one will not act out of raga and dvesha. So these are different meanings of Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhamodhara. Now we will be concluding this course by listening to Puja Gurudev on this verse. A very beautiful clip.
Not merely say that only I am ready to act, but to what? Next to procrastination. Yatra partho dharma, tatra there. There where there is Krishna representing the higher values of life, and Arjuna representing the dynamic readiness to act in the light outside. Tatra there. Shri prosperity. Vijaya victory. Bhuti progress. Dharma niti policy. Dharma niti firm, steady, progressive, creative policy. Matir mama, this is my opinion. Meaning, I am not asking you to accept it. But this is my opinion. Your readiness physical level, with all the modern equipment, is not sufficient to create prosperity and joy in the human community. You are all liberate to it. The last war clearly shows, Hitler had shown it. That armed to the teeth, the whole nation of determined youngsters, ready to make enormous sacrifice. They could only ultimately break down the moral core of the world and bring down humanity to the present state of valueless existence confused and confounded. Philosophy. Subtle philosophy. And when everybody going to the Himalayas sitting in utter meditation, that tragedy of the Hindus in India would happen historically. Everybody sitting there, only they is all proud of them. Alexander has come, never mind, proud of them. And Muslims are coming ruling over the never mind. That is all happens. Bhagavan will protect you. Uita, Krishna, Krishna, and in the name of the Krishna, take a little more prasadam. That's purely spiritual. You cannot live in this world. Purely materialistic and secular. There is devastation and defect. Spiritual values and higher principles in you, and we are all ready to work for the benefit of the country and society. Cultured people, healthy in their values and ideas, when they work, that nation or community shall have. See the second line? Shri, prosperity, Vijaya, victory, Bhuti, progress, Dhruva, niti, steady and righteous policy. This last words of the Bhagavad Gita, raises the status of the whole heathen. That it has got a message, political and economic, for the social survival, not of the Hindus, but of the entire man. This is equally applicable in American politics as well as in Russian politics or Chinese politics. It is a beautiful lesson for the leaders of mankind in all climes, all colors and systems.
Right. So, we will chant the last Sankalpa Vakya of this Gita, 18th chapter. Om Tatsaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadashodhyayah Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyah Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchah. So my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you. You have been a wonderful audience and seekers for the last 1.5 years. And grace of the Lord that we have been able to complete the Gita course. We dedicate this at the feet of the Lord and Puja Gurudev. So together let us chant. Kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhatmana va prakriti svabhavat karomi adya sakalam parasmai narayanaye samarpayami narayanaye samarpayami. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Om Tat Sat Chinmaya Arpanamastu.